Before the world awakens, before the phone lights up, before the sounds of life pour in, there exists a moment. Few people ever notice the sacred moment of dawn. It is that fragile space between night and sunrise where the mind has yet to be claimed, by worries where the soul has the chance to return to itself. That moment is like a quiet doorway, open only to those still enough to enter. In this noisy world, most people begin their day with alarms, messages, emails, meetings, and with unfinished thoughts from yesterday. They rush out of bed, but they have not truly awakened. They carry yesterday's burdens into today's light, and so the wrinkles of the soul deepen. What they don't realize is that what we do first thing in the morning does not just shape our habits, it shapes our state of mind, our energy, and the way we live the entire day. The Buddha taught the mind precedes all things. All things follow the mind. When you first open your eyes, you stand at the threshold between two worlds, the inner world and the outer. If you let the outer world choose your mood, your day will be swept away by others' currents. But if you choose awareness, if you choose to master your own mind, you don't just begin a new day, you begin a new life. Every morning is an opportunity to recreate yourself. It is not merely the awakening of the body, but the awakening of the mind. Before the world demands you to be someone, remind yourself of who you truly are. Imagine, instead of leaping into the race, you sit up in silence, feeling your first breath, your heartbeat, the soft light through the window. That is the moment you are coming home, home to the present, where all peace begins. In that moment, you have a choice to carry yesterday's weight, or to begin anew with a fresh mind. Most people don't fail from lack of opportunity. They fail because they begin each day unconsciously. They let their minds chase the world, instead of letting the world follow their minds. So before the noise arrives, stop. Take a deep breath. Feel life moving through every cell. Exhale, slowly release all that no longer belongs to today. For in that moment of silence, you are planting the seed of your entire day, the seed of awareness, calm, and intention. Every dawn is an invitation from life itself, asking, how do you wish to live today? Do not rush to answer with action, answer with presence. Because only when you are truly here, in the very first moment of your day, can you lead it with wisdom, instead of being led by habit. That brief moment, if held with awareness, becomes the foundation for a day of serenity. In the teachings of the Buddha, each morning is not just the start of a new day, it is an opportunity to reset the mind, to renew one's awareness, energy, and direction in life. The moment you wake is the meeting point between delusion and awakening, between unconsciousness and mindfulness. If you can grasp it skillfully, it becomes a doorway to inner freedom. If you let it slip away, you simply enter an old day in a new body. The form has changed, but the mind has not. The Buddha taught, each morning is a rebirth. This is not a metaphor, but a profound truth. When you awaken with a calm mind, you plant the seed of peace for the entire day. When you awaken in haste, you plant the seed of confusion. The mind is the root. Circumstances are only its fruits. In Buddhism, there is a subtle principle called the first thought. The very first thought upon waking sets the tone for your entire stream of consciousness that day. If the first thought is delusion, the day will be carried by delusion. But if it is mindfulness, the entire day will carry that awareness. Morning, therefore, is seen as the gate of new karma, the place where you can sow wholesome seeds before the world begins to shape you. Unfortunately, most people awaken in ignorance. They reach for their phones the instant they open their eyes, pulling their minds into the whirlpool of news, messages, and social media, allowing the energy of others to invade the natural stillness within. They forget that the first voice they should hear each morning is the voice of their own heart, not the noise of the world. For that first moment forms the compass that will guide the day. It determines whether you will live in awareness or reaction, in peace or turbulence. Morning in the spirit of Buddhism is not merely waking up, but awakening. Waking up belongs to the body. Awakening belongs to the mind. One may open their eyes and still be asleep in unconsciousness. Another may sit quietly in the dim light of dawn, breathing gently, listening to the rhythm of their breath, and in that very moment they have touched enlightenment. Buddhism calls this the moment of transformation of the mind. When you begin with awareness, your entire inner world rearranges itself like a lake that has stilled perfectly, reflecting the sky. Thus, morning is the gateway of energy, the starting point of all causes and conditions. The way you begin determines the way you experience. Begin with stillness, and you will carry that stillness into your work, your speech, and your connections with others. Begin with anxiety, and anxiety will follow you into the night. So rather than letting the world choose your state, choose it first. Step through the doorway of morning, with presence, with breath, with mindfulness. For in that very moment you are not only beginning a new day, you are beginning anew as yourself. Each morning when we open our eyes, most of us do not truly wake up. The body may rise, but the mind remains asleep in yesterday's fragments. The moment we awaken, we begin thinking about unfinished work, lingering worries, unmet goals. We carry the past into the present, then throw our minds into a future that hasn't yet come. The Buddha taught, wherever the mind wanders, suffering follows. Thus the affirmation, I am here, I am alive. This moment is enough, is not a simple phrase, it is a call to awakening. When you say, I am here, you remind your mind to return to the present. You are no longer drifting in memories or projections. You have come back to this very moment where life truly happens. When you say, I am alive, you acknowledge the greatest miracle that life still flows through you regardless of what happened yesterday. Your breath remains. Your heart beats, meaning you still have the chance to begin again, to love, to be aware. And when you say, this moment is enough, you cut off the endless thirst of the mind that always wants more, better, different, forgetting that peace only exists in the fullness of now. Begin your morning with full presence. Don't reach for your phone or leap out of bed in anxiety. Sit up slowly. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the cool air on your skin, the rhythm of your heartbeat. Place your hand on your chest and softly whisper, I am here. I am alive. This moment is enough. You will feel something miraculous. Worries dissolve. The mind slows down and a gentle warmth spreads through your body. No magic has occurred, only your return to the magic that was always here, life itself. Many seek peace in the future, but the future is only a shadow. Peace is not something to attain. It is something you allow yourself to feel right now. If you are breathing, if you can feel you already have everything you need to begin your day with gratitude. Happiness doesn't come from having more. It comes from recognizing what already is. Remember, each morning is another chance to begin again, to live a little more awake, a little more grateful. When you rise and repeat those 3 sentences with your whole heart, you are not just starting a new day, you are resetting your entire life. For in the moment you are truly present, the past loses its power, the future loses its threat, and only the present remains. Complete, peaceful, whole. And right there, peace begins. There is a profound truth in the Buddha's teachings. Peace does not come from a quieter world, but from a mind no longer disturbed by the world. Life will always change praise and blame, gain and loss, joy and sorrow, rise and fall like waves. If your peace depends on the weather outside, it will vanish with the first gust of wind. But when you realize that nothing external can disturb your peace unless you allow it, you discover true freedom. Each morning, remind yourself, nothing outside me can break my peace unless I let it. The world will always offer reasons to react. A careless word, a fleeting glance, a disrupted plan. But in that instant where you choose whether to react or not, you determine the fate of your own mind. The Buddha said, no one can harm you unless you allow them to. Meaning, suffering does not come from events, but from the way we interpret them. You might step into traffic and get caught in a jam. Instead of anger, you can choose to smile, play soft music, and see it as an opportunity to practice patience. Someone might speak ill of you. Instead of reacting, you remain silent, knowing that peace is worth more than proving yourself right. The difference between a troubled person and a peaceful one lies in a single word: permission. The troubled allow everything outside to dictate their mood. The peaceful allow only what is worthy to enter. The outer world will always make noise, but it becomes chaos only when you let it echo within. So each morning imagine putting on an armor of mindfulness, soft, not rigid, absorbing, not resisting. It helps you stay steady through all collisions. When others are angry, you remain calm. When life is difficult, you remain clear. Peace is not about avoiding the storm, but about standing still within it. This does not mean you become indifferent or cold. On the contrary, it is the highest form of wisdom to act without being ruled by emotion, to face life without losing yourself. You still do love and contribute, but with balance, unshaken by praise or blame, gain or loss. Every morning when the world begins to pull on your energy, remember this phrase like a protective mantra: I am the gatekeeper of my peace. No one enters unless I open the gate. And in that steadfastness, you cease being a victim of circumstance. You become the master of your own energy. For peace is never stolen. It is only forgotten. Throughout a day, you hear countless sounds. People's voices, news, work, music, noise, but there is one voice that speaks the most and carries the deepest influence, the voice within you. It can lift you up or pull you down. Most people are not hurt by the world. They are hurt by the words they whisper to themselves. Each morning, before anyone has time to judge you, your mind has already begun to do it. I'm not good enough. I should have done better. I'm not worth anything. These quiet sentences suffocate your confidence, your joy, and your life energy. The Buddha taught, loving others is easy. Loving oneself is hard. Compassion is the foundation of all compassion. Yet people often forgive others more easily than themselves. This truth, I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment, is an act of liberation. When you can be gentle with yourself, you not only heal old wounds, but also create the soil for growth. Morning is the best time to plant the seed of kindness. Sit still, place a hand over your heart, and feel your breath and heartbeat. No fixing, no forcing. Simply whisper, I accept myself today with all that is still imperfect. This is not weakness, but courage. Only the brave dare to look at themselves with tenderness instead of the whip of criticism. In Buddhism, judgment is the root of suffering. It drives us to compare, to torment ourselves, and to never feel enough. Compassion, however, is the root of wisdom. It allows us to see mistakes as lessons, not sentences. When you can tell yourself, I'm learning, I'm still worthy, you nurture the seeds of patience and self-respect. From that soil you act, not to prove your worth, but to express it. Remember, self-compassion does not mean surrender. It is not an excuse for mistakes, but acceptance in the process of growth. Those who truly love themselves don't run from responsibility. They simply stop striking their hearts with judgment. They use the light of understanding to guide their steps and continue walking without collapsing. When your mind begins to criticize itself, pause. Instead of asking, why am I so bad, ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, I'm terrible, say, I'm trying every day. A small shift in language can transform your energy entirely. You cannot offer others what you do not have. If you wish to spread kindness, begin by being kind to yourself. Each morning, when you promise to treat yourself with compassion instead of criticism, you are choosing to live by the light of understanding rather than the shadow of judgment. From that choice, your inner world begins to soften. On the journey to happiness, people often look outward, seeking validation from others, security in possessions, meaning in achievements. They chase countless halves while forgetting a simple truth: everything they truly need already lies within. The Buddha said, when you learn to return, you will find the treasure that was never lost. This is not philosophy, it is fact. Once the mind returns home, peace appears. Each morning, before rushing into the day, pause for a few moments to remind yourself, Everything I need is already within me. This phrase is medicine for the disease of lack, the belief that happiness depends on something missing. We think we lack money, time, love, recognition. But the feeling of lack does not come from reality. It comes from illusion. When the mind never rests, no amount of gain will ever feel enough. Imagine your inner being as a lantern covered in dust. The light has never gone out. It is merely obscured by layers of doubt, fear, and comparison. When you say, "Everything I need is already within me," you begin to wipe away that dust. You don't need to find more light. You only need to uncover it. That faith marks the first step back to inner strength, the dwelling place of wisdom, patience, and compassion. In Buddhist practice, enlightenment does not come from outside, but rises from the mindful heart within. Like a seed given light and good soil, it naturally grows. So too, within you there already exists clarity, empathy, resilience. You don't need to add anything new, only to trust what's already there. Begin your morning with a simple ritual. Sit quietly, place a hand on your chest, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. As you inhale, whisper, "I am enough." As you exhale, say, "Everything I need is already here." The feeling might be faint at first, but repeated daily, it becomes an unshakable belief. That belief transforms how you live. You seek less, fear less, prove less. One who knows they are enough no longer chases the world. They flow with it lightly and freely. When you trust that all you need is already inside you, stop competing to be above others and begin sharing to shine from within. Giving from fullness brings back something far greater than all possessions, absolute serenity. Each morning repeat this truth as a vow: I lack nothing. I have the wisdom to understand, the love to care, and the strength to endure. For once you realize the treasure within everything outside becomes only decoration for your inner completeness. There is a higher level of peace, not merely finding it for yourself, but becoming a source of it for others. When you whisper each morning, "Today, let me be the cause of peace," you are signing a sacred pact with your own heart, a vow not only to live in peace, but to ease the suffering around you through the quiet power of your presence. Buddhism calls this the path of metta, loving kindness. It is not only about cultivating inner calm, but spreading that energy wherever you go. Every thought, word, and action you create sends out ripples of energy. A gentle word can soothe a wounded heart. A soft smile can dissolve anger. And one person who remains calm amid chaos can radiate enough peace to steady the whole atmosphere around them. In the morning, before the world begins to pull at you, sit still for a few minutes. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat and whisper, "Today I choose to be the cause of peace." Imagine a soft light expanding from your heart, filling the room, the street, every place you will go. That light is the energy of mindfulness, compassion, and presence. It doesn't need grand gestures, only small acts done with awareness, listening instead of reacting, smiling instead of judging, responding gently instead of arguing. When you choose to be the cause of peace, you become the master of your reactions. Others may lose their temper, but you don't have to meet them at the same frequency. You can pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, will what I'm about to say bring peace or more conflict? That one question can change the entire course of a conversation. To be a bringer of peace does not mean being perfect, cheerful all the time, or never shaken. It means being aware of your influence. You know that your presence can either calm or tense those around you, so you choose calm. You don't need to preach or force anyone to change. Your serenity itself becomes the living teaching. Each night before sleep, take a moment to reflect. How much peace did I bring today in my words, my gaze, my responses to discomfort? And if there were moments you forgot, simply smile and say, "Tomorrow I will begin again." In Buddhism, awakening doesn't mean never erring. It means always returning to a wholesome mind. If every one of us began the day with a simple prayer, Let me be the cause of peace today. The world would need no more slogans or noise. It would only need one more calm heart, one mindful breath, one person choosing love over reaction. Peace is not something we find. Peace is what we become. As the day draws to a close, let your mind settle quietly like a lotus closing its petals at sunset. It is time to reflect on the 5 morning truths, the 5 seeds you planted in your consciousness to nourish mindfulness and peace throughout the day. I am here. I am alive. This moment is enough. Nothing outside me can disturb my peace unless I allow it. I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment. Everything I need is already within me. Let me be the cause of peace today. Each sentence is a lotus petal, and as you repeat them, they unfold slowly within you, releasing the fragrance of awareness and gratitude. During the day, you may have forgotten them. Perhaps between conversations, deadlines, and tasks, you reacted instead of breathing, tensed instead of remaining calm. But the Buddha said, "No one walks the path of enlightenment without ever losing their way." The real awakening lies not in never forgetting, but in returning again and again. The moment you notice you've strayed is the moment you've already come home. Like a rower who doesn't fear the waves because they know how to hold the oar, you too will never be lost as long as you know how to return to these 5 truths. If the morning is the time to plant, the evening is the time to water. No rituals needed, just a few quiet minutes, a deep breath, and a gentle question. Did I live in alignment with these truths today? Sometimes you'll smile, realizing you stayed calm in a difficult moment. Other times you'll see you forgot kindness toward yourself. But don't scold your mind. Simply notice, smile, and promise yourself, tomorrow I will do better. Enlightenment rarely arrives in flashes of brilliance. It blooms slowly, like dawn, through moments of returning. When you review these 5 truths each night, they stop being separate reminders and form a complete circle of awareness. The first truth teaches presence. The second teaches emotional mastery. The third teaches compassion. The fourth teaches inner trust. The fifth teaches the transmission of peace. Together they orbit a single center mindfulness. When your mind is awake, life naturally becomes clear, light, and simple, no matter what changes outside. End your day with a breath and a quiet thank you. Thank you for letting me live fully today. Even if things were imperfect, you are still on the right path. The path doesn't need to be fast, only steady. Like the lotus, it does not bloom through noise, but through silence and the soft light of patience. And tomorrow you will begin again, deeper, clearer, and more at peace. When the first light of morning touches your window, remember it is not only the beginning of a new day, but the beginning of you. The 5 truths you've learned are not meant to be memorized. They are meant to be embodied in your breath, your words, and your way of living. Each phrase, each thought, each mindful act is a small brick that builds the path of awakening, not through knowledge, but through living presence. I am here. I am alive. This moment is enough. When you speak these words, you're not just reminding your mind to be present, you're blessing the day ahead. For one who treasures the present moment can never be restless. Nothing outside me can disturb my peace unless I allow it. When you practice this, the world may still be noisy, but your mind will remain as still as a lake. Waves only rise when you let the wind enter your heart. I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment. When you say this, you loosen every knot of self-criticism and open the path for true compassion, the kind that begins within and radiates outward. Everything I need is already within me. When you realize this truth, you stop chasing, stop comparing, stop grasping. You stand gently yet firmly in life, light as the wind, knowing the treasure has always been within your own heart. And finally, let me be the cause of peace today. When you speak this, you transcend the limits of the self, no longer seeking peace only for yourself, but becoming the one who brings light wherever you go. The Buddha taught, do not merely learn the Dharma, live it. These truths are not confined to scriptures or temples. They live in your responses, your choices, and every moment you return to yourself. When someone is angry, you choose to breathe. When your mind stirs, you choose to pause. When someone needs to be heard, you choose to listen in silence. In these simple acts, the Dharma reveals itself, not in monasteries, but in the ordinary rhythms of your daily life, where you eat, speak, work, and love. As you repeat these 5 truths each morning, they slowly seep into your being, becoming instinct, becoming character, becoming your path. You no longer practice peace, you become peace. Silence is no longer something you seek, it is something you radiate. Tomorrow, when the first light slips through the curtains, take a deep breath and smile. Repeat the words not loudly but sincerely, for every time you do, you are reborn in mindfulness. Let your life be living proof that the way is not found in words, but in the way you walk. Walk slowly, walk steadily, walk peacefully. And one day you will realize you are no longer walking on the path of peace. You have become the path itself.